Did you know that the acid-alkaline balance in the food that you're eating affects many things? It can affect the sex of your child. It can affect either a dissolving of fat, if you're bringing in alkaline elements, a dissolving of fat from the body, and even as much as affecting our emotion and our mood. That it is interesting that most of all of the substances which cause people to feel elevated or high in themselves are alkaloids.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Universe Inside Our Mind. I'm Annie Jubb, and this is my husband, Dr. David Jubb. Are you too fat? Americans are the fattest people in the world. If you want to learn some secrets today about how to lose weight and about weight management, it's exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to show you some fabulous recipes, some live food soup that's coming up soon. And why don't you just tell them a little bit about live food nutrition, David?
Well, live food nutrition is food which a semblance of this food can be found growing in nature. Some of the foods that people are eating, a semblance of that food less than can be found growing in nature.
But isn't everything growing in nature?
Not really. Some things are growing in a farmer's field and can only grow in a farmer's field, and those foods are fattening, like carrots, beets, and the starch foods, basically.
The starch foods. So what is the secret then about weight management? Does it have to do with starches?
Yes, it has to, a realization that starch causes incremental weight gain, basically, and eliminating starch, it's quite possible that if you hear this secret at home right now, this can be just maybe even your saving grace.
And so what about rice cakes? I've only seen very enormous people eating rice cakes.
Because it raises insulin and causes the storage of whatever it was that was eaten.
Okay, we're going to go to some videotape that we have of David and I making a fabulous live food soup. And so let's go to that tape right now. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the show, Whole Brain Functioning. I'm Annie Jubb, this is David. We're in the kitchen now, and we're going to show you how easy and simple it is to prepare live food nutrition. You can throw away those pots and pans. You won't need them anymore. You can clear out the stove from your kitchen.
Throw the stove away.
Throw the stove away, right, because you don't really need that anymore.
Throw washing up away, because most everything just rinses away.
Yeah,
you know?
It's the simplest, easiest thing to make.
And it's such an amazing thing because we buy things just totally packaged from nature. So everything here is packaged from nature.
Right, there's very little waste. There's very little prepared foods that we actually buy. There'll be a few things that we'll show you today. And, but for the most part, it's the bulk of our food is vegetables, fresh vegetables.
So you could say,
fruit.
basically, we're going to prepare this in this blender, and it's a very sophisticated kind of a blender. But your blender at home, for the most part, is going to do these things just as fairly easy. So why don't we just say just quickly here what the base of this recipe is.
It's a vegetable soup.
You really could say, look, we've got a couple of sticks of celery here. Now, I've already put some water in this container, and we have about 4 cups of water in here. So I'm just going to break this up, and I'm going to put this in.
Like David said, this is the Cadillac of blenders, and it's a Vitamixer. They're very good. It's great because you hardly have to chop anything up much at all.
We're not going to really chop much at all. Actually, you can see this. We're just... Tell
me what you're putting in there. Cucumber.
That's a cucumber. We're going to put a little bit of carrot in there. Carrot, we talked about, is a hybrid. So we're going to put some in there. And we're going to balance this recipe a little bit by putting some protein, some seeds and things in here to slow the release of this sugar down. Let me cut this just a little bit. Okay, so put that in there. Go ahead, Annie. And
so for seasoning, we have some ginger and some fresh garlic. And
so that's just put straight in whole. practically not even without peeling it, just about. Let's put most of this red pepper in. There's an enormous amount of vitamin C in this, incredible, and this just makes your soup very flavorful.
The red pepper really does.
We're going to put a couple of tomatoes in here, just for good measure. Also, that also helps sweeten things up a little bit.
And it's important to put some savory herb in there too. So today we're putting in cilantro. Cilantro has a really yummy taste to it, and it wakes up the whole soup. You can just put that right in there on top.
Right, and so now a little bit of onion. Notice, look how much preparation, my goodness. Okay, so now
some seasonings.
let's just bring that down just a tiny bit, and then let's put a little bit of seasoning in.
So your blender at home is going to take a little more time than that. But this guy is so great. It's fabulous.
Put that down, Annykins.
Okay.
So we put carrot in there. So I want to put a little bit of protein. Look, and I've just got a handful of shelled pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seed is so amazing. Everybody needs zinc. Everybody needs some little chlorophyll, B vitamins and things, essential fatty acids. Very wonderful, right? So I've not put that much in there, but let's put just a little bit more. There's about a handful.
So probably like a quarter of a cup.
Right.
Of pumpkin.
This also is living. This is Bragg's liquid aminos. So I'm just going to put like what you see me there. Just put that much in.
You can use Bragg's in place of tamari or soy sauce. It's a living product. It's very delicious, and it's loaded with amino acids. So it's a really nice nutritional supplement as well.
We're going to put a little bit of spirulina with lesser than flakes in here, so I'm just going to kind of put like maybe a tablespoon's worth, that's all. That's wonderful because all the amino acids that you need are right here in this spirulina. So we've got a couple of other things that we're going to put in here. We have some tahini, which is just a raw sesame seed that's been milled. So I'm just going to put a little bit in there, not much.
So this is a raw tahini. There are just 2 or 3 brands that actually make a raw tahini. It'll say so. They'll brag about it on the label. Or what we like to do actually is just grind up fresh sesame seeds and throw them in there, and that actually is really delicious.
Put sesame seed straight in there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now
miso.
You know, we're going to put a little bit of miso in there. You could put like about this much in there. That's pretty good. With everything that we have in there, that's really good. All right.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the importance of a living oil?
You really could say, we need living oils. We need oils that are cold pressed. This has been nitrogen flushed. It's in an opaque container, so no light can go in it. Why is that so important? Because people are eating heat processed fats, and that is a poison. Heat processed fats and heat processed oils are a poison that oxidizes the body. And you really could say these are the proper kind of essential fatty acids and things that we need.
So the things you'll look for when you're looking for a live oil, you'll get it in the refrigerated section of the health food store, and it'll be in an opaque bottle like this, and it's going to brag about how fresh it is, so it'll probably have a pressing date on it.
This was pressed in January 25th, 1997.
All right.
Okay, so we're just going to put a little oil in there, like that. Okay, this is going to be really quite a creamy soup. All right, and that really creams things.
The creamier it is.
This is something that the kids can take to school. You can warm this up a little bit to 118 degrees. You can mash a little millet or something into it. So let's turn this on just for a second and let's let the Vitamixer do its job.
Such a great machine. I really recommend anybody getting one who's going to be on a live food diet.
Done.
So there's a fabulous meal that you could make. And actually, David is, in the next segment, we're going to be talking a bit more about nutritional fasting. And David has been on a nutritional fast now for well over a year. And that means that he's taking in just a few things like this blended soup. You have, what, one every couple of days or something?
I have maybe a soup every couple of days, perhaps, or more space than that, perhaps. But this is one thing is it's possible thoroughly for this really to be a person's stomach. And you know, I watch people, and gosh, if you're less than chewing your food less than a couple hundred times, a lot of that food is less than really being broken down properly in the stomach. So this guarantees that everything really is being broken down. And for the people listening at home, there's possible that there's someone in your family that's of age now and may less than have the proper teeth and things, and so something like this is so important. You can put food in this and you can blend it down, and actually that can be for a baby, and honestly, we all need to look after ourselves, and this is really like our stomach on the outside, and this is like our teeth on the outside are doing some of this work for us.
Right, because we all need to chew our food better. They say actually in the Vedic traditions that you should chew your food about 75 times. Well, I know I hardly get up to 75 times for each mouthful, but this way is really a proper. It guarantees that you're going to have easy digestion and that things will flow smoothly for you.
So in this segment, this next segment that we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about a way for you to nutritional fast. And we're going to be talking about what nutritional fasting is. And you really could say that you really need a couple pieces of equipment. You need a blender. That's pretty easy. You need a coffee grinder because you may need to grind some of the seeds and things that you put in here in a coffee grinder. This is such a high-speed blender that we'd never bothered to grind that up beforehand. We just threw those things in here, and this is such high speed that it actually blended those seeds for us.
And we're back. These soups are fabulous. I can tell you they are so delicious. It's exactly what I want for dinner almost every day. In fact, David's been doing an amazing fast for the last 2 years now.
Moving into my third year.
Moving into the third year.
Right.
And he occasionally has one of these soups. And why don't you tell us just quickly about the sorbet, the amazing sorbet that you've made?
Well, sorbet also is made in a blender. And these foods are so amazing. You saw us just putting some seeds in. Those seeds are so very important because the hormones mobilize minerals for weight loss and this sort of a thing. You need hormones. A sorbet, it's very easy. At home, your blender is really great. Get some frozen berries, because berries are so wonderful. Get a little bit of oil. You saw us putting those oil in. Get a little bit of flaxseed, perhaps, and put some seeds in there. Get a little spirulina with some lecithin flakes. Put that in there. Maybe even get some chromium GTF or something like that and put that in there, which is very helpful for weight loss. And blend this up. My goodness, that's just really, really amazing.
So if you're interested, David and I, Dr. David Jubb and I do a free lecture, free here in New York City every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock at 208 West 13th Street. You can also look for us on your cable station because we're going to be on it just about every week now. And we'll be coming right back, so stay tuned. Check it out. We should be eating food that we've been eating for millions of years. We should be eating wild foods. So the wilder the food, the better. Dandelion greens. You can't snuff it out even if you want to. Those dandelions will grow in the most amazing circumstances. Burdock root, all of these things, wild foods that have a voracious virility to them. Eat fertile foods and be more fertile yourself. Check this out. The body is the mind's experience of itself. As above, so below. So to experience pride, we have to throw our shoulders back, give the lungs and the heart experience forward. And so you at home, sitting there in your seat, throw your shoulders back, put your feet flat on the ground, lift your head up, take a deep breath in, and relax. And we're back. Welcome back to the show. This is The Universe Inside Our Mind. I'm Annie Jubb. This is Dr. David Jubb. We just looked at some pieces of making a yummy life food soup and talking about weight management and weight loss today. So, David, what's one other thing that we can talk about that's to do with weight management, that's truly about weight management?
If you're interested in losing weight, losing fat weight and building a more lean tissue, that requires your liver to be working really good. And we need to build high-density lipoproteins, and these are a special kind of a fat, more or less. You know, it's a high-density lipoprotein which carries fat back to the liver. That's your good cholesterol. Bad cholesterol is a low-density lipoprotein. When we combine an essential fatty acid with a protein, this is what makes a high-density lipoprotein. These are the materials to make a high-density lipoprotein.
Speaking of materials to make a high-density lipoprotein, we're going to go now to some footage that we did of a food preparation class just recently in Manhattan. Our good friend Ed Lieb gave us a great favor of videotaping it for us, and so we're going to have a look at that tape now.
Oh, I guess it's all right that I could say that I do drink urine. I do drink my own urine. Every day. I drink some every day, and I don't spill a drop of it, I swear. So now when you do coconut, it's a good idea to put it in a coffee grinder and grind it down really fine, right? Which Annie really didn't do quite in this recipe, but actually that is a good idea to do. Why do you suppose you should grind the coconut in your coffee grinder? There's two reasons to what's going to happen when you grind it up in the coffee grinder. It's going to be helpful for digestion, correct? Because is somebody going to really chew that down fine? No. I hope that every person here really does chew this, okay, so the coconut really does get digested, which is probably just going to pass through the intestinal tract, the way that it's put into this salad. Okay, so coconut, if you use coconut, it should be ground down really fine in a coffee grinder. And the other reason for grinding it down is, guess what? When you grind down this coconut, it releases its flavor more. It makes the recipe more flavorful with coconut. Apple juice, we have raisins. Doesn't seem like very many raisins to me.
No, here are the raisins here. They haven't been added yet.
Okay, we're going to put...
These raisins are soaked so that they're much more easy to digest.
These raisins,
about an hour and a half.
you know, probably a couple hours at least. This is such a wonderful natural sweetener. So when we've put cinnamon, a very, very amazing cinnamon in here, basically to help bring a little bit of a spice to the sauce. Put some flax oil, and we put oil in here. Okay, we have soaked bilberries, wild soaked bilberries going in here. Actually, we don't want to put too much more in there. Actually, it's good. Okay. That's the cinnamon that's going in there now. Put oil in here. Okay, we're going to put a little oil in here. This is Hormone City right here. Where do you get your hormones in nature from?
Seeds.
Seeds. Why do we need hormones in the body? You need hormones to mobilize minerals. You can only mobilize mineral reserves if you have hormones. Hormones are very important. When we nutritionally fast a person, we have to make sure that we're bringing in something so this person has hormones. Let's put some fresh dill, right? Let's put some... So everything that we're eating tonight is straight from nature. Look, everything is just straight from nature, and it's prepared like that, instantly, There's no cooking, there's nothing, you know. And we're just bringing these nutrients in, and everything works synergistically.
It expands a little bit. So
Okay, let's. I need a cloth.
you can make it early in the day.
That will last. This soup, can you imagine how long Campbell's soup lasts in a tin? Right? This is going to last nicely, maybe in the fridge for 4 days or so. It probably will last longer than that. If you put vitamin C in here, like what we did, you could even take some vitamin C caplets, and you could put a vitamin C caplet in this to actually bring a bit more vitamin C in to help protect it from oxidizing.
Did you put the hot sauce in there?
No, I haven't put any hot sauce in this one.
Yeah, what is that for?
This is to add some pungence to one of our recipes.
Oh, it's not that
Pungence,
one, okay.
pungence is one of the qualities that create adaptogenic qualities of the food. Tonight, everything we eat here will end up as an adaptogenic kind of function, basically, because we have all 11 qualities of food. We wouldn't have it unless we had that pungence, which adds the final thing to all 11 qualities that should be there. What are some of the other qualities in a food? Pungence,
Salt,
sweet, sour, salty, bitter. Did you know how it is that we make soap? What you've just had
It's so.
can actually eventually become soap in the intestinal tract. What is basically soap? It's lipids, and then it has an alkalizing element with it, like potassium salts or something. So whenever you do something like sodium and it has oil with it, that is going to make a soap.
And we're back to the universe inside our mind. I'm Annie Jubb. This is Dr. David Jubb. And so we were just talking about making soap. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, you know, basically soap really is lard or fat or lipids, basically, oil.
Like a coconut oil?
Yes, you could use coconut oil or any of the vegetable oils combined with like a potassium salt. The two combined together make a soap, more or less, in the intestine. And there's an aging pigment which is often in people's cells and things called lipfuscin. And
Is that like the liver spots that people have?
yes, it is. It's kind of like these liver spots and things which people have, which all of this also can be cleared away. Lipfuscin, which is an aging pigment in the cells of the brain and other places of the body. There's a saponification which soap-like materials actually in fresh fruits and vegetables and things, and seeds and roots and things like this, which when we bring these things in, it really does help clear away this aging pigment.
Okay, so will people lose weight? They're fat. How will they lose weight? Is this going to help them lose weight?
People are going to lose weight because they're moving away from the foods which really, less than can be found growing wild in nature. They're moving away from the starches. If you simply move away from the starches, you're really going to improve your health quite a bit.
Interesting. So starches, why don't you just rattle off the starches for us?
Potato, wheat, corn, rice, oats, barley, carrots, beet. We used a tiny little bit of carrot in that last segment, and we also used a tiny little bit of banana. Let's be kind and let's be gentle, and if we do bring in a little banana, if you did bring a little bit of that, or you did bring in a tiny little bit of carrot, we brought in quite a bit of protein, and we brought in quite a bit of lipids and things to help to slow the release of those sugars down, and then it's helpful to help balance things a little bit. But people at home might be interested in how to make perhaps some other things.
But those are all whole foods that you mentioned. So what is the difference then, the distinction between a whole food, like how would a starch, like there must be degrees of things, like a potato chip as opposed to like a raw potato, in terms of like weight gain and starches and all of this. Can you make sense out of this for us?
Well, let's just talk about potato because at the moment that it's fried, and it would have been fried, or it would have been denatured in some way, it's missing even more of its elements. The more something is missing its elements, the more deficiency that this would have created. If it's in its living state, it's going to have its enzymes and things, and that can be modestly helpful.
So we talked a little bit about rice cakes at the beginning of the show, and I just have sort of a thing about that, because the largest people I've ever seen are the ones that are eating rice cakes. Because rice cakes are starches, huh? Why are they so, you mentioned that you said that people will get fat if they eat rice cakes. Why?
People would have got fat because the rice cake is made out of a sugar which has come from the rice, which ends up in the system, and the liver really less than recognizes this sugar because the sugar itself is missing its vital life force, and so it really is not a live food.
It's been processed and
even if it were
denatured?
raw, it's dead.
So it's been processed and denatured, that's
Rice?
why it doesn't have a life force?
Well, it's been processed and it doesn't have its life force, certainly, if it's been processed, but it didn't have its life force to start with. It's missing its life force, and that's why the liver less than recognizes it as a sugar, even if it was like a sprouted rice, which is not so easy to sprout, actually.
Interesting. Now, because you said that rice is only grown in a farmer's field, there is really not much of a wild rice growing anywhere, is there? Not even wild rice.
There is no wild rice growing in nature. There is grass seeds, which they sometimes call wild rice, but actually there is no wild rice growing in nature.
That's interesting. And so what about the other starches?
Like carrots, banana.
You mentioned potatoes and all of these other grains. They're all starches. Are they found growing in nature?
No, they're not really. There is an semblance of a carrot, which is like Queen Anne's lace, but that less than looks like anything like the kind of carrot that grows in the farmer's field. There is a potato from South America, and that also looks nothing like the potato that people are eating. And even that potato, by the way, has been cultivated over the centuries and things, and it has lost its life force, which by the way, basically is its vital electrics. It's actually the minerals in the food.
Interesting. Well, that is so interesting, and that's such a new look at how to lose weight by avoiding starches in your diet and by eating fresh raw fruits and vegetables, I guess is the way to say it.
And by, blending things and breaking things down.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if you've heard something here today that makes sense and you want to find out more about the things that we're behind, there are programs that are existing that you can plug into. We have a free lecture every Tuesday night at 208 West 13th Street, and that is between 7th and 8th Avenue. That's at 8 o'clock.
New York City.
Here in New York City. Look for us all around the country because our cable stations are going to be airing our shows all over the country very soon. And we have other programs too. If you're interested, give us a call. So anyway, have a really lovely day, and thanks for joining us.